what I saw there was young people doing a great work. So much so that 16 new churches, 16, and were raised up, and today was just a culmination of that.
Yes, I like the fact that it says, I am the message. And so it means that the young people within this particular union, they are embodying the whole concept of being the sermon.
They are. And you know, it was also interesting to note that that the video highlighted that all of these came from unknown territory. The young people are going into uncharted territories.
That's
They're
correct.
going into uncharted territory, and that is phenomenal. That is phenomenal.
Agree.
So let's segue a little bit. Now we have in studio with us a student from our own school here, and her name is Tyler Ramming. Tyler, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Tyler, tell us some of the activities that you have been involved in today.
Well, right now I'm a 12th grade student at Bahamas Academy, and I like to be active in whatever's going on. So I'm involved in a lot of clubs, and I'm also a student leader. But definitely, I think the greatest impact that I have on people is my voice. I love to both sing and speak publicly wherever. So at Bahamas Academy, we have a lot of students who are not Seventh-day Adventists. The ratio is almost 50-50. And it's surprising to realize that some of them, the school is their first interaction with any type of Adventism or even Christianity. And so in me being in a leadership position or just being around these people, I have to be careful on how I carry myself or what I say, because I might be the only sermon that they see. You know, some people, they'd watch rather what you do than what you say.
Beautiful. And you know, Edgar Guest did say that. I'd rather see a sermon any day than to hear one. So Tyler, as a student, what is the most difficult aspect of that?
Wow. Definitely staying true to what you say. Because a lot of times as Christians, you know, you say one thing, and like I said just now, you do another. And if you deviate too far from what you say, you start to look like a hypocrite before these other people who do watch. A lot of times you don't realize that they're watching. But once you label yourself as a Christian, there are always eyes on you. And it's hard because we're humans and we make mistakes, and not a lot of times people realize that.
That's true.
Tyler, I like that you're saying this as a young person, and so it brings me back to what I would have just said about Panama, with them embodying the whole aspect and concept of being the sermon, them saying, I am the message. And so do you consider yourself to be the sermon?
I try to the best of my ability through God's grace to every day live my life how I should. You know, God tells us to go out, and our main mission on this earth is to spread the gospel, to hasten his coming. And in order for us to do that, we also not just have to literally go out there and preach, but we have to live our lives accordingly. And in seeing that, people will look at what you're doing, and then when they believe you, they'll look at what you say, and hopefully, through God's grace, they'll be drawn closer to Christ.
That's awesome, Tyler. We want to encourage you to continue being the sermon.
Yes.
I know it's
Thank
difficult
you.
as a young person.
Yes,
It is. I know it is. I was once young, believe it or not. But we know that you can do it and continue to be an example.
Yes, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going now to another report, and it's
Yes.
coming from
The North Mexican Union.
Receive a cordial greeting from North Mexican Union Conference. Today, in our 11 local fields, thousands of young people went to the streets just to be the sermon.
On this Global Youth Day, Adventist youth here in the northern part of Mexico have been participating in a project called Food and Water Drive, primarily distributing food to homeless and migrants in need, mainly in the northern part of Mexico border with the United States of America.
Now let's get in contact with the Western Mexican Conference to see what the youth are doing in the city of Guadalajara.
In Guadalajara, we are in one of our communities where extreme poverty is seen, where there is no drain system or water supply offered. Therefore, ADRA and our youth have decided to come together and offer their services to this community. These services include literature and attention for children, dental checkups and blood pressure exams, physiotherapy, nutrition plans, handing out clothes for the needed, giving haircuts and hair treatments, and giving special attention for children for them to learn to brush their teeth, as well as providing food supplies for over 30 families. and of course, praising God through worship songs and prayer. Today, in Guadalajara, we are the sermon.
In the city of Reynosa, on the border with the United States, Young Adventists implemented a project called Good Samaritan VIP, giving food to immigrants with tables, dishes, music, and waiters who attended the people.
These are one of the activities that the youth of the North Mexican Union have developed.
May God bless each and every one of you, and happy Global Youth Day.
Yvonne, I was so moved by that report. And as intense as it was, it brought me joy. I looked at the fact that there's a phenomenal work going on in North Mexico, in the North Mexico Union. It is so close to the border of the United States.
Yes.
So they're actually understanding the need to cater to those persons, those immigrants who are living on the border.
Yes, I like the fact that they have the Good Samaritan VIP, as they call it.
Yes.
I think it's very rare and unique that you actually see something like that. You see the needy being treated as
Yes.
though they are
Yes.
very important people. They
That's
are
right.
the celebrities. And they aren't the persons that you should shun and push to the side because they look different from you. They are the people that you should seek to minister and service, because that is what we are called to do.
That's a
And
fact.
that is exactly what the young people in the North Mexican Union are doing.
Yeah, and it also, the video from today also highlights the fact that the young persons, the different departments of the church that are working hand in hand to fulfill these missions.
That's
so
true.
They
They had ADRA.
ADRA,
Yes.
right? I like that. And they also emphasize the health needs. You're not just preaching to people, we're meeting their needs. And that video really showed that our people are relevant to what they're doing today.
Yes, what other way to meet and service the needs of people than to meet them where they are?
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. Let's go on. Let's take one more before our next
Just
interview.
one more?
Just one more. We have more to
Okay.
go. Let's
So
take
who do we have?
Let's go to the North Colombian Union.
North Colombia, where are you?
¿Está listo?
Gracias, papi.
No olvides tu casco. Para Elizabeth, su bicicleta es un vehículo que le ayuda a ejercitarse y divertirse con sus amigos, pero para un niño guayú puede significar mucho más que eso. La educación en la península de La Guajira, en el norte de Colombia, no es la mejor. Los salones muchas veces se encuentran vacíos. ¿Por qué? La principal causa es que los niños no tienen cómo llegar a sus escuelas, pues las distancias son muy largas y el clima es terrible. Es por eso que hemos creado el proyecto Ruedas para Educar, con el propósito de mejorar la calidad de vida a muchas comunidades indígenas. Gracias a los donativos que hemos recibido en todo el país, miles de niños hoy pueden ir a clase todos los días. La misión fue cumplida con éxito. El Evangelio de Cristo fue predicado en uno de los lugares más lejanos del país. Continuamos orando por cada uno de estos proyectos y para que nuestra juventud siga siendo una bendición en cada lugar donde Dios le necesita.
Siobhan, the classrooms were empty.
They were until the young people came in and
Tell me,
they provided the bicycles.
that is a phenomenal program. So our young persons, the young persons in the North Colombian Union, were able now to get to class so that they get to school so that they could have the benefit of a good education.
Yes, and so it's wheels to impact. Well, wheels
Wheels
to
to
educate.
educate, wheels
And
to
so
educate.
we're impacting thousands of the YU youth.
Yes, we're just highlighting how our young people are being relevant on this Global Youth Day.
Yes, and speaking of relevant and youth, we have in studio Mr. Stanley Fillard,
Yes,
who
another
is a young person within our Inter-American division. Stanley, it is such a pleasure to have you here today.
It is my pleasure, and thank you for having me.
So Stanley, As a university student, what are some of the things that you are doing to help impact young people in the campus?
Oh, all right. At my university, I'm actually involved in many activities, clubs, and organizations. Notably, I am the Senator of Business for the university. My direct duties involve investigating student-related matters of students within my academic institution, as well as the preparation and planning of events for those students. I'm also the chairman for the Spirit Week Committee at the university, and so every event that transpires throughout that week, I'm directly responsible for. Now, when we talk about being the sermon, Barry and Siobhan, this position of influence has allowed me to do just that, you know, and this is a problem that is faced with many of our youth in our division. We attend universities, public universities that welcomes denominations and religions from across the region. And so it's always a blessing when you have someone asking you or inquiring about your faith because of keywords like Sabbath.
Yes.
And then also I tutor, and normally people come to me for advice. And so during these tutoring sessions and also these little talks that I have, it's fun to see the conversation move from quadratic equations to, you know, who was your favorite apostle? Right. And so it's just many different things you can do to just share Christ throughout your campus. And that's just one aspect of campus ministry.
Right. So when we look at Be the Sermon, how can you encourage other young persons, Adventist young persons on your campus to be as deliberate as you are about being the sermon?
Now, one thing I can offer to other Adventists that are on campus is to not be afraid. You know, that's the biggest step right there, that fear of being involved and that fear of, you know, public speaking. You know, you want to pray about that every day. Ask God to relinquish you of that fear, and you'll be amazed at the amount of things you do. You can go up on podiums and speak for hours on hand, and there is nothing, you feel nothing from it, and then you would be amazed at how moved, you know, other youth were. And one thing I want to notice that young people respond better to other young people. Young people communicate better to young people. And so when you see another young person doing that which you fear, it relinquishes that fear.
That's good.
And so definitely praying about God lifting that fearful spirit off of you, and you'll be able to do amazing things.
All right, so I have one more question.
Yes, sir.
Do you have other Adventist young persons on your campus who are actively following this initiative with you?
Currently, I do have a small team of Adventist people from my church who I can always ask and call upon, and if we need to just do a quick Bible study or something, you know, mainly from my church. And that's because, like I said, the campus is a very big campus, and so students from all across the region attends, and majority of Adventists, they tend to sway towards Adventist education. And so I don't have much Adventists on my campus, but with the little that I have, I normally work with them. And so,
isn't it a blessing to be able to do this unhindered?
Yeah, it's definitely a blessing. Like I said, more prayer, more power. Yes. So the more you pray, the more God will work with you, the more you'll be able to do amazing things. More prayer, more power.
Beautiful.
Amen. That's a
Thank you,
wonderful
Stanley.
note to end on. Thank you so much, Stanley.
Thank you.
So we have social media input.
Yes, and we have a new person for you all to meet. Her name is Takara Lewis. Takara, please let us know what else is buzzing and pulsating on the social media platforms today.
Well, Siobhan and Barry, I've checked my Instagram and Twitter feeds, and there's so many things happening around Inter-American Division. Let's start with Tabasco, Mexico, where we have a lot of young persons out there giving out water and literature and just being the sermon within their communities. I also looked in Kingston, Jamaica, where we have young persons going out to the Open Arms Drop-In Center, which is a homeless center, and they were giving out food, they were giving out water and other necessary items. And it was such a blessing to see the young persons ministering to other persons who may be in need. I also noticed that in Nassau, Bahamas, we have persons ministering to the Persis Rogers Home for the Aged. And we had a group of young persons out there giving out bread. We had persons out there having worship and a lot of music going on there. And so I'm excited to see what else is happening. I noticed that in Jamaica as well. I know we mentioned Jamaica already, but Jamaica is on the move. In Morris Bay Seventh-day Adventist Church, young persons are visiting older persons and delivering care packets, giving out food and literature. And so if you didn't hear Your Country, please, we want to see what you're doing. Make sure upload your pictures to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and use the official hashtag, which is GYD18. We want to see what you are doing, and we want to hear from you. So make sure that Your Country is represented.
Thank you so much, Takara.
Welcome back. This is the Inter-American Division's live broadcast here on the island of New Providence in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, but more specifically, the Atlantic Caribbean Union's conference.
Of Global
Youth Day. Yes,
That's
of
right.
course.
And
Global Youth Day.
We've been joined in our studios by Pastor Ken Price. He's the Union Youth Director for the Inter-American Division. Welcome, Pastor Price.
What are some of the activities that are taking place today within your territory?
Well, I can say that within our territory, the Atlantic Caribbean Union, we have young people distributing water, they're distributing food baskets, they're even going into the correctional center, clinics, police station, they're even relating to blood pressure, all these stuff. They're very actively involved in Global Youth Day.
Well, Pastor, it sounds as though there's a lot happening within the union.
Yes.
And so I just have a question. How are the young people being impacted by all of these initiatives that you have going on?
Well, I can say that they're being impacted by the community, that's first and foremost, because of their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with the community, going out and touching lives. I can also say that I have seen the enthusiasm, the excitement, the eagerness of the young people just being pushed out of the four walls voluntarily now.
Yes.
All right, walking in the rain, all right, and being accepted by the community because of the work that they're doing. And I can say they're truly being a sermon wherever they go.
So what stood out most for you today? What is the most memorable thing? I know you've been all over. What stands out most?
What stands out most is to see 11 precious souls baptized today on Global Youth Day.
That's awesome.
And I can say to God be the glory. That is what stood out most in my mind today.
I'm going to ask you a question that I asked earlier. How do we mobilize more of our youth in your union to get busy for Christ? Being that sermon.
Yes, we have to communicate. We have to communicate. We have to talk to them. We have to share with them. We have to get next to them. We have to befriend them. We have to be the mother, the father. We have to be the big brother, the sister to them. And we have to speak to them, knowing that they're looking for someone to trust.
That's right.
So that they can be led.
Thank you so much, Pastor Price. Pastor Price, you've done an awesome job. You continue to do an awesome job in this union, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
We are going now to more reports.
Yes, more reports.
Yes, who do we have next?
We have the Interoceanic
Mexican
Union.
And we'll take that report right now. I was really excited to see how our young people in the
Interoceanic Mexican Union. Yes.
were just going through the streets and just proclaiming God. It would be so great if all of our young people could do that on any given Sabbath. Just go in the streets and proclaim God. And they said, what? Hung 3 times. Hung 3 times if you love God.
Yes, hung 3 times. They gave out massages for free. They had prayer.
Yeah.
They did cleanup in the community. And so we saw that they were being good stewards not only to God, but to man and what he created via the earth.
That's right.
And so next we're
going
going
to
back
go
to
to
Central.
Guatemala.
Yes, so we're
Guatemala.
going back to Central America.
We're going to hear from Guatemala.
It has been a great impact to the community in different places of the Guatemala Union during the celebration of Global Youth Day. In our country, young people moved to the streets to share clothes, food, and books to the neighbor. There were many young people who donated blood, benefiting more than 1,000 people who are in the National Hospital.
Pues estoy muy feliz, muy entusiasmado de poder haber ayudado.
The young people who donated blood for the first time say they feel very good for having done it and are willing to do it again. They have understood that this way they are given a chance of life to children and adults in need. That is how thousands of young people in Guatemala told many people that they have a message to share, the message of the love of Jesus Christ.
Guatemala Union. Food, books.
Yes, and they also gave the gift of life through the blood drive.
That's right. Guatemala had 400 blood donations today. 400 blood donations. That is phenomenal. So we see that the blood donations are continuing from last year.
Yes.
Because our young people are continuing to donate blood.
Yes, while we recognize that food and water are essential, you can't really keep those things and be sustained by
That's
those
right.
if you don't have the blood flowing through those veins. And so it's a wonderful initiative that the Guatemalan Union has done in continuing to give and meet those needs of blood.
So we look at food, clothing, and blood.
Yes, and blood today.
Okay, let's take another report. We're going to go to the El Salvadoran Union right now.
Me siento feliz y emocionado en este momento de participar junto con la juventud adventista a nivel del mundo en el Día Mundial para los Jóvenes Adventistas. Es un gozo y un privilegio para nosotros aquí participar de este día. Estamos aquí en la Iglesia Adventista del Séptimo Día en La Concordia, en Caracas. Y a este templo, a este lugar han venido más de 200 personas en este día. Muchos de ellos ya han bajado para recibir la porción de alimento y agua que ha sido preparada con mucho cariño. Además de recibir la palabra, la bendición espiritual, les hemos dado agua, les hemos dado sonrisas, cariño, abrazos, pero sobre todo llevan la seguridad de que Dios está en sus vidas. Y no solamente esto está sucediendo hoy acá en este lugar, en muchos rincones de la Unión Venezolana Oriental hemos estado entregando sonrisas, ropa, abrazos, alimentos, agua, paquetes, bolsas con comida, incluso estamos regalando en estos momentos, dándole esperanza y bendición a esas personas. Por eso todos juntos nos gozamos en participar de este movimiento maravilloso que está predicando alrededor del mundo, que está llevando un mensaje de paz, de bendición y esperanza a todos los lugares.
Los jóvenes en la Unión Venezolana Oriental te decimos:
sonríe, Dios cree en ti.
We just saw the East Venezuelan,
yes, the East Venezuelan Union.
And that was phenomenal. We're going to come back to El Salvador. But what I saw in East Venezuela was that they brought 200
persons to church.
And ministered to them in the church. They ministered to their needs first spiritually, then their physical needs.
Yes.
And you know what's more?
What's more?
What's more is that it's a permanent program.
Oh, it is?
It's going to be a permanent program.
Oh,
and
wow.
their buzzword is what? Smile, God believes,
Believes in you. Yes,
Smile,
that's their
God believes in
slogan.
you.
Smile.
God believes in you. Let's take a break from our reports now, and let's take another social media break.
Report, yes.
And back in studios, Patrice.
Patrice, you're back.
I am back and I am sweating because they're keeping me just so busy. You spoke about Guatemala, but what you didn't see was the faces of those individuals who got haircuts. They were giving free haircuts. Haircuts don't save lives, but they make people happy. And so you had Christians and non-Christians excited about their free haircuts. And also in Guatemala, we found young people going to the police officers who are so often forgotten and neglected, sometimes chastised, and they were praying for them. They too seemed to be very excited about that. Then over in North Mexico, you saw them looking for homeless people, not just the very obvious ones on the roads, but they went searching for them and giving them prayers and food. There were also blood donations in North Mexico. Then there was this interesting Facebook post by Akil O'Connor from the Cayman Conference. It was exciting to see her saying, I am so happy to be out of church today, and I will serve. So with the I Serve initiative, they went to the West Bay portion. They impacted all of Cayman, but she in particular said she went to West Bay to the police station, serving them and praying with them. In Kingston, Jamaica, the young people penetrated the city with care packages. And it may sound generic to you to give care packages until you need it and you receive it. In these care packages were found food, toiletries, sanitary care, and other essential things that sometimes they won't have. In Tabasco, Mexico, they were seen having what they called a kindness restaurant. You think they only served food in this restaurant? No. They served prayers and special songs. So hungry people were fed, then they were serenaded, then they were prayed for. I thought that was absolutely exciting. Montmoreus saw them giving blood once more. So there's lots of blood flowing similar to the blood of Jesus that's flowing nonstop. We seem to be giving and giving and giving more blood so that others can have life sustained. In Colombia, some gave free telephone cards, minutes. I thought that was quite interesting. And when they gave the minutes, they gave Adventist literature. I think the subtle message was read the literature, then tell someone about it with your free minutes.
Thank you so much, Patrice. You're doing so great sending in these messages, so continue to send them in. But in studio we have right now one of our youth leaders. She's a youth herself, and she's going to tell us what happened today in her neck of the woods.
Yes, her name is Shakira Romer. Shakira, thank you so much for joining us today in this wonderful and live Global Youth Day program. Now I understand that you are a youth leader within our territory. Tell us exactly what happened today in your church.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And today, our church decided to go into the community of the Percy's Rogers home. So, of course, in order to get this done, we had to receive approval from our church. We sent out flyers. We did announcements inside the church. We sent out information via WhatsApp. And once members were on board, we created a program. And we just went down there and we had a great time. So we had church with them today. So this was a casual day where we were in jeans and our Be the Sermon shirts. And we held an awesome program. It was completely youth-led with the support of our older persons. And we just had a really great time. And not just having church with them, but we also fed them. And that was something that they really, really appreciated. And after we left from there, we actually gave out bread and literature to the neighboring community.
Wow. That's awesome. So tell me, so your church was actually closed today?
Oh, we were closed today.
Everybody from the congregation?
Everybody from the congregation. So we came and we had a great time at Persis Rogers' home today.
So how did you mobilize the entire congregation? Because sometimes our leaders don't want to close their churches. They just want to, all right, the youth can go, but we'll still have service. How did you get them to close the church?
Well, first of all, I have to state our church's slogan, which is the church with a personal touch. Okay. So because we have that mentality, just letting them know what it is that the youth wanted to do and knowing that it was a community outreach. And of course, letting our light shine so that others may see our good works but glorify God, not us. So once we said those things and showed those actions, our church was mobilized instantly. Persons came and they actually wanted to donate and wanted to find out how to help, so everything just fell in line.
Awesome. So tell me, what advice would you give other youth leaders as it relates to getting their churches, their entire church mobilized to do this work?
Definitely, first of all, never be scared of what the criticism may be that comes your way. There will always be criticism, but always know who you're really trying to please, which is God. So if you keep that at the forefront of your mind, you're going to do an excellent job. And not only that, try to mobilize everyone in the church. Try to find out your members, get to know everyone, and just get them to showcase their gifts. You'd be surprised who's sitting in the audience who've never been tapped and just needed that little push to execute those gifts for Christ. So that was all, and we had an awesome day today.
Well, Shakiri, thank you. They say a good report makes the bones fat, and my bones are fat right now.
Oh, praise the Lord.
Thank you so much for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we are now going to we're going to get the real El Salvador report right now. El Salvadorian
we are. We're going
Union,
to El Salvador Union.
And we're going to take that report right now.
El Salvador is a wonderful country where more than 6 million people live. Our country has awesome volcanoes, beautiful landscapes, and a lot of hard-working people. But unfortunately, it also has some issues. In Latin America, El Salvador is a country that has a high level of violence and deficiencies in the health system.
Therefore, our country needs hope. It needs an opportunity for improvement. To accomplish that, there are God's children, who are known as Seventh-day Adventist youth.
Since 2011, God has allowed this army of young people to start a ministry of kindness, and it grows every year with a desire to serve God by helping others in need.
This 2018, we as the Salvadorian Union will continue to provide help by distributing food, water, clothes, visiting hospitals and praying for people, but we also want to add a special project, donated blood.
Blood is vital for humanity. That's why the youth ministry, along with our local radio station, got involved in the project called Vida por Vidas, a life for lives, in which more than 200 liters of blood were donated.
Today, March 17, once again, the Seventh-day Adventist youth is donated blood. For some, it is their first time and they feel nervous, and others have already repeated the joy of being blood donors every year.
We don't doubt that God is guiding our youth from the Salvadorian Union and is with his more than 10,000 young adults who are working today hand in hand, sharing life and hope.
The Seventh-day Adventist youth in El Salvador want to be the servant today.
You have to make him beforehand. The El Salvadorian Union. I got two great points from there. First of all, they have a high level of violence. So what did they do? They started the ministry of kindness.
Yes.
So they're deliberate. So regardless of what's happening in their territory, they're deliberate about being kind and trying to have that kindness to be infectious to people they meet.
And don't forget, it's also a ministry of hope.
Yes.
We are giving the people not only within their union, but in their community, hope. And that's very much important, especially for young people to continue this work.
Yes, that is so true. And they have also continued the blood drive.
Yes.
And they have actually named it Life for Lives.
A Life for Lives project.
A Life for Lives project. And today they donated over 200 liters of blood. 200 liters of blood. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. But we have one more before we go to our next interview.
Yes, we do. We have the Dominican Republic.